Hello, Facebook friends and family. Oh, and YouTube friends and family. How are you guys doing today? I hope that everyone is doing wonderful and swell, per usual, on this good Tuesday morning. It is August the 26th, 2025, and it is currently 10:01 a.m. here in Detroit, Michigan. I'm feeling really well. Go lay down. My granddogs think they slick. They know I'm in here about to do my video, so they being bad. Anyway, I feel really well, or whatnot. I just got done watching Barbarian. It's a movie on Netflix. I started watching it last night. I had seen it on there a few days ago, but I watched a little trailer and I'm like, I'm not going to watch that. And then I was like, well, you know what? I was sitting on the couch last night. I'm like, something telling me to go watch that movie Barbarian. I don't know why. And everybody know I don't watch scary movies. I don't watch movies that are scary. I don't watch movies that are demonic, like exorcism movies and shit like that. I don't watch that type of shit because I don't want nothing, no demonic ass spirits trying to enter my vessel. So anyway, me and Mally started watching it last night. And he was like, Mommy, this seems like it's getting scary the more and more we watch it. I'm like, it does, doesn't it? But he ended up falling asleep. And I continued to watch it. And then the Wi-Fi went out when it was like about 15, 20 minutes of the movie left. So I needed to hook up to my Wi-Fi or whatever, but I didn't feel like it. So I'm like, oh, it don't matter. I'll just finish watching it in the morning. So I got up this morning and everything. I went outside, got my groceries or whatnot. And then I finished watching it. And it was a pretty interesting movie, by the way. And it teaches a lot of lessons in it or whatnot. Like how sometimes you can't save other people. You just have to save yourself. And everybody cannot go everywhere with you. But anyway, I started watching the movie and I didn't know that the movie was based out of Detroit, Michigan. In BRIGHTMOOR. Or whatever. I learned that. I think you learned that pretty much about 10 or 15 minutes in the movie. She said that she's renting an Airbnb in BRIGHTMOOR in Detroit, Michigan. I don't want to be the spoiler alert if anybody hasn't seen it yet or anything like that. However, she goes on Airbnb. She rents her Airbnb because she needs somewhere to stay while she comes to Michigan. Basically, I think she was like on a job interview or something like that, or some type of conference meeting or something, and she ended up renting an Airbnb. However, when she got there, there was already somebody staying inside of the Airbnb, and they both decided like, well, damn, he rented it off of one app, she rented it off of Airbnb. He didn't want her sleeping outside because it's in the middle of BRIGHTMOOR. She couldn't see the whole neighborhood like that because it was nighttime when she arrived. But when she woke up the next day, it looked like BRIGHTMOOR. The houses was fucked up. The whole block was fucked up. And if you really live here in Detroit, Michigan, like myself, and I just moved from BRIGHTMOOR a couple of months ago, then you know that BRIGHTMOOR is pretty much ran through. I used to live in BRIGHTMOOR when I was a kid too, and my mom was alive. We lived on Rockdale Street. I went to Hubert Elementary. Me, Denzel, my mama, my cousins, Naya and Kabir had to come live with us too. So we lived in BRIGHTMOOR. And back then, it was a pretty okay neighborhood. The houses were decent. There were families that lived there and everything like that. But probably about maybe like 5 years ago, I was not even 5, maybe like around 3 years ago or so, I started to drive through BRIGHTMOOR. I went to Rockdale and rode past my old house that I used to live in with my mama. I spent one day driving past all the houses that I remember living in with my mama. So I went to Rockdale, I went to Tyler, where I went to Tyler and like Wildermere, Dexter and all that, where I went to McCullough. I drove past our house that we used to live in there, Ardmore and Puritan. I just drove past any house that me and my mama lived in, me, my mama and Denzel, my grandma and my cousins and shit. I just did it for some reason one day. I just felt like I wanted to go and reminisce or whatever. And when I got to go through BRIGHTMOOR, and I went down Rockdale and I started driving through, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? It ain't no fucking houses around this bitch. Literally. It's probably one house on this block, one house on that block, 3 blocks down. Like, what happened? I hadn't been over there. So anyway, this year, me and my kids, we had just moved into a house in BRIGHTMOOR off of Bennett Street or whatever. And there was some little weird shit going on there, but I ain't gonna talk about it. But yeah, we had moved in there or whatever, and we ended up having to move out in April. But anyway, as they're staying in the Airbnb, she started noticing like weird activity per se. And she has to go down in the basement for some reason, and she finds a hidden room. It actually happens to lead to a hidden tunnel that goes through the underground or whatever. And what I was about to say is it's too many movies. It's too many movies talking about these underground tunnels in the city of Detroit. And when I lived in my house on Griggs, and people kept breaking into my house, and I couldn't figure out how they were getting into my house, one of my neighbors, his name was Eric, down the street, he said, Aaliyah, you and your kids need to move out of that house. He said, we have tunnels in the basements of these houses over here. Some of these houses are so old and they're built-in tunnels. He said, you're not going to know how to get to it through your basement, but somebody else will. And I'm telling you, Kong was a real brave dog. Kong would not go in the motherfucking basement on Griggs. When I say he didn't play that shit, he'll walk past the basement stairs, look down there, and take the fuck off. And then one time, like when I was selling food, I used to want to chain him in the basement. He would not stop barking. He would go crazy to the point that you had to let him out the fucking basement. And in our house on Griggs, 18600 Griggs, we had a decent sized basement or whatever. And there were these little pantries down there that pretty much looked like they lead to nothing. But I couldn't figure out what was the purpose of them. However, anyway, I told y'all I was asleep one time and somebody was walking around in my house. As well as my kids went to spend the night at their daddy house one time and somebody came and jumped out the window of my son's room. They came out the fucking attic. And, you know, I had started asking people, like, have y'all been seeing people come in and out of my house or anything? Because shouldn't nobody be in there but me and my kids. But you know how neighborhoods are when they all work together. Nobody ring camera work, nobody seeing anything. But my one neighbor told me, he's like, you need to move. And the neighbor across the street, she was like, girl, don't nobody last in that house more than 2 years. Blase split. Well, me and my kids, we lived there about 2.5 years before the city of Detroit stole our house and made us get out. But in those 2.5 years that we lived there, we had several occasions where we heard somebody walking around in our fucking house. I caught somebody one time jumping out of the window of my kid's room. But it was something about the fucking basement. Then I end up looking on Facebook, one of the houses around the corner off of 7 Mile in Wyoming too. A lady had just said that she had purchased her house, and when she pulled the rugs up, it was the big circle with the star in the middle. You know, the little circle that people be doing their little rituals on and stuff like that. She was like, it was a circle in the middle of on the wood when she pulled the carpet up. And I was saying, my neighbors next door, they used to be playing this little demonic ass music, chanting and shit all throughout the middle of the fucking night. And they kept newspaper on their windows. Not curtains, not blinds, newspaper, so you just couldn't see through that bitch. And it was all these big ass holes in their backyard in the ground and shit. And they had one window that they would keep open, but it was pitch black. And it was open in the winter time. The weirdest shit. The weirdest shit. But Eric, he told me, he like, yeah, you gotta go. You have to move out of that house. Like, people be coming through the tunnels of the basements and shit. Now, we got They Clone Tyrone that talk about this shit, and a few other movies, and I always talk about it. Then we had history books that talked about the Underground Railroads and stuff like that. And then now this is a Netflix movie, Barbarian. And this girl was renting this Airbnb in Detroit, Michigan, in BRIGHTMOOR. And there was a whole tunnel in the fucking basement where a man was doing things. And if you watch the movie, you'll just see. But anyway, the person who was originally there when she got there, you'll find out what happens in the movie. But she goes back, she's trying to call the cops, the Detroit police. Like, hey, I need help. I was just renting an Airbnb. I've been held captive. I don't know how long I've been in there. I need y'all to come and help me. There's another man in there. He's probably about to die. I need the police. And the police disregarded her. Told her to go sleep off the drugs that she was on. This is what I be saying. Another movie that say how police negligence lead to lives being ended for no fucking reason. Like, they had guns and everything. You could have went and shot that shit the fuck up. But no, they didn't believe her. They thought that she was a drug addict who had lost her mind. The same way the Detroit police damn near thought that I was a drug addict who was mental and shit. But she was trying to tell them what she had witnessed, and they didn't believe her. They pulled off. She went back to try to help the man, and he accidentally ended up shooting her because they were scared. And, you know, they got out the house. They went and found safety. And what he ended up doing to her at the end was just so fucked up. But she still ended up surviving. But it just goes to show how you cannot help everybody, because they will turn their back on you if it comes to you or them. Not everybody. Some people will legit try to help you too. But he didn't. He like, okay, it's down to me and you. It got to be you. I'm sorry. It was ready to end her life. But at the end, still needed her help. You cannot help everybody, because everybody do not have the same heart as you. She tried to get help and couldn't get help, so she went back to try to help him herself. And he played her to the left, literally threw her to the fucking left. And then tried to make an excuse of how what he did was necessary. So crazy, but so relevant to my motherfucking life. And that's so crazy because my friend lives in BRIGHTMOOR. He just moved in BRIGHTMOOR, got a house over there. And I was just joking, like, yeah, I like going to spend the night at the Airbnb in BRIGHTMOOR or whatever. And that's just so funny to me that I didn't even know that the movie was going to be about an Airbnb in BRIGHTMOOR. It doesn't say that it's based in Detroit when you read it or nothing like that. And I watched the trailer. I just didn't know. So watching the movie last night, I'm like, oh, BRIGHTMOOR, Detroit. But yes. But people and the things that some people are into, especially occults, sex occults and stuff like that. And that reminds me of all these readings that I've been doing, especially when I lived in them apartments on East 7 Mile. And I'm like, you need to check the basement and the backyards of somebody's houses. I was just thinking like dig up the backyard or something. Or go in the basement. I said knock down the walls. Is because people be sex trafficking and human trafficking people in basements. Because a lot of these basements have tunnels. They lead to other houses, other pathways, and everything like that. Some people be going down manholes. And when you in elites and high societies and secret societies and shit like that, they will tell you certain things like this. When I was going to the True Remnant of Jesus Christ with Bishop G.L. Jones and shit, he had showed me this light pole one time, right here in the west side of Detroit. The light poles, the street lights, and they got the real big bottoms with the doorways. They supposed to be like utility, for you to go fix the utility lights and shit. He like, yeah, don't be playing around stuff like that. He like, them doors, them open up to underground tunnels. I was like 12 years old. He like, yeah, some of these doors, some of these lights, they open up to underground tunnels and stuff like that. He like, don't be playing over there. And this was kind of close to like 6 Mile and Myers and stuff like that. He's like, don't, Aaliyah, no. And he was showing me when it was off like 6 Mile and Myers, kind of like right where me and my mama and shit and Denzel had lived at. So when I be making the videos and I'm saying like, no, it's kids. They underground. They're in tunnels. This the type of shit that I be talking about. Then they turn around and make movies about them. And they put them on Netflix. And then people watch them and be like, oh, that was a good movie. Yeah, it was a good movie. Did you eat your popcorn? Like, stupid bitch. They're giving you, I said, one thing that elites and stuff have to do is admit what they're doing. They have to tell the truth about it. It's how they try to clear their conscience. However, they put it in movies. they make it seem like it's a joke or like they trying to be subliminal or something when it's real life facts. But people gonna start taking me serious one day. But that's just like I said, the FBI needed to dig up somebody's backyard. I don't know the FBI cases because I don't work with the FBI. However, I know I did that reading and I said the FBI needs to go dig up some backyards if they looking for somebody. And they found like 3 bodies within that week, that month. They found 3 bodies in the backyards for cases that they were trying to solve. Some of them from like 20 years old. Highland Park and shit. I don't know. I don't know how I got the channel messages. I just get them. And these churches be having underground tunnels, just like the Underground Railroads back in slavery days and shit. And what was slavery? It was human trafficking. History repeats itself until you put an end to this shit. That's why I be saying all that keep the peace. All that shit is not okay sometimes. Granted, yes, we want to live a peaceful life, but sometimes you have to fight for your peace. And sometimes the police ain't going to be the ones to help you. They be working against you. Or too lost in the sauce to even give a fuck. So yeah. And I've learned that from Rebel Ridge, that is on Netflix, as well as Barbarian, that is on Netflix. Actually, I didn't learn that from the movies. I lived that shit. Police brutality, police negligence, authorities not giving a fuck, causing people to lose their lives because they think that you crazy. And that's some fucked up ass shit. But they making movies about it. And I've been talking about it for longer than 5 years. But 5 years documented right here in my digital diary on Facebook of how the police is fucked up. How the city is fucked up. How shit be going on underground. And at the tippity top of these buildings and shit. And who be right in the center? The fucking police. The mayors. The governors. The pastors. The city morgue. And our people be falling victims. Little ass kids. Women. Victims. And we be sitting around like, oh, don't disrespect the cops. Keep the peace. Why they taking advantage of us? Killing us. Living off of us. And it's all organized crime. And then it's really people who are mental. But they call somebody like me mental. Because I have visions and I talk about them. But then you sit around and see the same shit come on these movies. Netflix been watching me for a long time, I see. But I've been saying that. Just like the police. Just like the elites. Just like the Illuminati. Just like YouTube, Tubi, and everybody else. But anyway, interesting movie. Interesting movie. But I'm about to relax. My kids ain't at school either. They didn't go today. They didn't go yesterday. Well, Lily, the school that they want her to go to, she doesn't start till next week anyway. And Mari really don't want to go back to the school that's around the corner. And I knew he wasn't anyway. And I said that I wasn't going to put him in that school. Again, because people don't take the shit that you say serious. I'm hearing you need to keep your kids at home. Technically. But I said that they need to go virtual or something. Or, I don't know. We gonna see though. We gonna see. Because I do like for them to go and interact and things like that. But at the same time, shit be deeper than rap. Especially when it comes to me and my offspring. And I could tell people was just really trying to bully Mari. And I used to be asking him, like, do people be trying to bully you at school? What's going on? Why do you be at school so emotional and stuff like that. Like, what is going on at that school? Nothing, mommy, nothing, blase, please. Then he got him a teacher who was okay, Miss Davis. Then Miss Davis ended up vanishing out the school, just quitting or some shit randomly. And then they was bouncing him around between these other classrooms, and he started it again, like not liking to go to school. Then one of his little friends from the school had called me the op. Like, I seen you hanging with the ops today. Like, black bitch and your fat ass mama, I will fuck y'all up. But you see, my baby didn't want to tell me what was going on at the time. But I read energy so well. Y'all gonna get fucked up. I will get that school ran through. And I know y'all watch my videos up in that bitch. I will get that school ran the fuck through. Kids in it and all. Play with me. But anyway, I've been keeping my kids at home or whatever, because there's something about Mally and Mari and when they go to school. But it also goes back to, like, Mac talk about, so I see I'm going to have to adopt all of your kids. Yeah, people about to start getting wrapped up for thinking that they can adopt people kids illegally so that they can steal checks and shit. And having their little friends and shit at the schools be a part of it and shit like that. Stupid ass motherfuckers. But I'm hearing it all falls down the radio. Shit going bad for motherfuckers. I'm hearing people thought that they got away with it. I'm hearing I almost got away with it. Like the TV show. People thought that they got away with stealing some money. Hiding a death. Ain't tell me my baby daddy was dead and shit. And y'all thought y'all was just gonna steal from me and my kid. And y'all broke as fuck and ain't got no money to pay us back. But I'm hearing get it back in blood. I either want my money or I want to see people dead too. Just like my fucking baby daddy. But anyway, I love you guys. Have a great day.